Still on business day. In other languages, we call it mwanja. In Bemba, they say tute. Eh? But talking about cassava, really, the IITA, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, is well vested in most of these crops. Something that today I have learned, and slowly, if you don't see me on TV tomorrow, I'm a farmer in Chisamba. But we have Dr. Phineas as well as Mr. No. Welcome to Business Day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Business Day, sir.
Thank you so much. You are most welcome.
You indeed look like a farmer.
I'm a farmer.
Yeah. Awesome. What exactly do you do? Let's begin from there. What do you do at IITA?
Thank you. At the IITA, when it comes to cassava, we are doing a lot of things, and this crop was normally used to be considered as a poor man crop. But today, cassava is industrial crop for farmers and for industries. And the IIT has played a big role to make sure that we have done that. And this is a very amazing crop because you can see all parts of the plant are used. The roots for starch and the carbohydrates, the stems for seed, for planting materials, for the leaves, they're rich in vitamin and the mineral acid. We are using our vegetables as well animal feed. When you are giving, we have an experiment when we are giving it to animals, they produce more milk. By the way, people don't know that. So it's a very interesting crop. And then we are doing breeding to be able to improve the quality of this plant. Specifically when you go to the farmers in the rural area, you see they are growing poor varieties, which they are not yielding very well. And what we are doing, we're improving that variety to increase the production. Because the issue is just, as you could see those varieties here, the yield is very high. And then when farmers are producing, what we found, for example, in this country, the yield is so low, 5 to 6 tons per hectare. But we are getting these ones 30, 34 tons per hectare. And that's amazing. How do we go about it? That's what we train farmers to do that. So again, we manipulate genes, that's a part of the breeding, to be able to get the improved varieties and do that. Mostly that's what we are doing.
Awesome. The thing that comes in my mind when we talk about breeding is, does that happen in Zambia? Because traditionally, when we want cassava, just go to someone's field, you get the tubers, put in your field. But the breeding part, what exactly is the significance of that?
Well, the significance is we try to identify the kind of breeding that we're talking about. When Doc said manipulating genes, we are not talking about the GMO. As we know in Zambia, the law doesn't allow yet to do that. What we are doing is conventional breeding, where we identify varieties that have good characteristics. Then we cross them using natural means, and then we select which one is the best, that has picked the best genes from both parents. That's what is meant in terms of breeding. That way, the offspring or the children that will come out of the crossing that we've made, it will have better characteristics of both parents. So that way, we are going to have a very good high-yielding variety, as well as having characteristics that are of interest to the farmer.
Is breeding really common in Zambia? I'm only hearing it here at IITA.
Well, it is. All the crops, seed companies, the best varieties that they are selling out there, they have been generated or created using breeding methods. So in many different crops, breeding is used as a way of improving the quality of the crops that we grow in the country.
I visited the lab. I think that's where you're found, at the lab where you produce the seeds for cassava, right?
Yes. There are two things. When we say seed in cassava, it's we mean it differently. The seed that you and I know as seed, the scientists will call botanical seed, it's a grain that will come out from a fruit. But in the case of cassava, when you talk about seed, we are really talking about the stems that we are going to use to plant in the field. Because in cassava, we don't use the actual seed as to plant in the field. So in the lab, what you saw last time you visited, we are doing is to enhance the multiplication ratio. As you know, cassava, it has very low multiplication ratio when you compare it with the other crops. The multiplication ratio for cassava, if you plant one stem, after 1 year, you only get 10, about 8 to 10 cuttings. That is very low. But when you look at maize, for example, you plant one seed, it will give you about 300 at the end of the season. So that's high. So what we've done to try to help the farmers with that challenge that comes with the cassava seed systems or production is to increase the multiplication ratio. So there is what we call rapid multiplication, where we take small nodes and we try to grow them in a nursery so that we generate more seed from that. But that rapid multiplication only increases the seed quantity from the seed ratio from 1 to maybe around 50. But then we have a new technology that IITA has developed and is trying to pilot in this country. We are calling it semi-autotrophic hydroponics. This technology, it has been demonstrated to increase the multiplication ratio from 1 to 1,000 per year. That difference is very huge. And the other good thing about this technology, it not only increases the seed multiplication ratio, it also deals with the diseases aspect. You see, cassava is vegetative propagated. As a result, it gets a lot of viral diseases in the field. So using this technique, you are able to clean or remove or eliminate the diseases from the stakes. So using that technology, you are able to clean out the disease, and what you are going to have in what you develop in the lab, it will be clean seed. It will have no diseases. As a result, you can share with farmers clean materials without transmitting the disease, because disease burden is very high in terms of these vegetative propagated crops. Yeah.
Awesome. I was seeing him rushing to get things, so I was wondering, what is he getting?
No, I was trying to help him to add what he's explaining in terms of rapid multiplication techniques. Normally, you see, these are plants, the stem we're using to as a seed, what we call seed or multiplication planting material to multiply cassava. But then, because of the rate, the ratio is very low. What we did the rapid multiplications. You see those small node, 2 nodes. We can plant it and sprout, and we transplant in the field. That's one. Yes, that's what he's talking about. And that one, it's a ratio of 1 to 50 only. But then with that rapid multiplication talking in the lab, we go to 1,000. You understand? And then secondly, the beauty of it, it improves the quality. I mean, although it's improved variety, but it does not have virus inside. And that's the beauty of what we want to do to make sure that the city system adopt that technology. And then as you have seen, for example, there's a high demand now in this country of cassava because industry are coming on board. So that one is going to help us to improve the production. And sometimes the farmers used to plant a long stick. I've seen in Kaoma, for example, they plant a long stick, but they are very smart because they were trying to see that they plant in September, it starts drying. When the rain comes, it's short, it sprout. But for us, we are using these small ones. So this is where exactly we plant. These materials are coming from a plant like this. So for no more production. So those are the technology we are trying to develop to train farmers and then the youth as well to be able to improve the production. I was trying to show you that that's how we are going about it.
The farmer that is watching is wondering how come they're not aware of all these advances that you are. How much sensitization have you carried out to ensure that the farmer that is watching in Mwinilunga district is aware of this?
I think we have done a lot. We are working with Uzari and we're working with extension people. So we do train what you call technician in the field, in the outside there. Then we give it the technology. And we have developed even the document, training manuals, which have been given to the Ministry of Agriculture so that they can be able to use to train farmers. And then those technicians down there, they train as well farmers. Otherwise, they are there. Oh, we need a lot to be done, I agree with you, but those information outside, they are there. Yes.
Awesome. I have so much to ask about cassava. I know the time is not with us, but maybe as we end the interview, for people that are wondering how ready is the market for cassava out there, is there even need for people to go into cassava farming?
Cassava is what Dr. Phineas he likes to refer to as it's a green gold right now, because there is the demand is just huge. The potential for cassava is huge. For example, I'll just mention a few. Zambia Breweries right now has started, I think for about 5 years now, producing a beer called Igolaga. The main ingredient is cassava. So that's a huge market already. Then we have just behind here, we are in 6 miles. We have a company called Zonkai. It's an ethanol production company. And you know that ethanol is used in many different industrial processes, including the famous sanitizers we are using now. It's coming from the ethanol that is produced, some of it from the cassava that we've been used to call it a poor man's crop or a lazy man's crop. So that's not the case anymore. The industry is huge out there. So what is limiting us right now is the production capacities, because when Zambia Breweries sends people out there to say, bring us cassava, you find that the quantities they are coming with sometimes it's not adequate. For a season, they will go without having adequate quantities. So that tells us a story that we still need to do more in terms of cassava production.
I have so much to ask concerning cassava. I know we have other editions that maybe in-depth discussion can be held on cassava, the varieties especially that are there. I know there's the early maturing, there's the late maturing also, and plus many others, which I'll leave it to the other editions. But thank you so much for hosting us here at IITA.